The galactic conclave had not seen silence like this in 3,000 years. 47 alien species sat arranged in a perfect hemisphere inside the grand station of Valorous Prime, their translucent bodies, scaled hides, and crystalline shells catching the pale blue light of the central holographic display. Ambassador Crix of the Vorith Empire, a 7-foot insectoid creature whose mandibles clicked with barely concealed amusement, leaned forward in his elevated seat and studied the lone human standing at the center podium. The human's name was Colonel James Harrow. He was 43 years old, broad-shouldered, with gray threading through his dark hair and a jaw that looked carved from stone. He wore no medals. No decorations. Just a simple black uniform with a single American flag patch on his left shoulder. "You have 60 seconds to explain," Ambassador Crix announced, his translator module buzzing with condescension, "why humanity refused our ultimatum. Surrender your outer colonies or face total annihilation." The deadline passed 4 hours ago. James Harrow said nothing immediately. He simply looked around the chamber slowly, meeting the eyes, all 47 sets of them, with a calm that made several ambassadors shift uncomfortably in their seats. Then he smiled. "We didn't refuse your ultimatum," Harrow said quietly. "We ignored it." Crix stood abruptly, his wings snapping open behind him. "Then you have chosen extinction. Our Vorith fleet of 12,000 warships is already positioned at your system's edge. Your primitive defense grid was analyzed and deemed obsolete." Harrow offered helpfully. "Yes," Crix hissed. "Obsolete." Harrow nodded slowly, reached into his coat pocket, and placed a small silver data chip on the podium. The holographic display in the center of the chamber flickered, then came alive with something that made every ambassador in the room go completely still. It was footage. Real footage. Dated 6 hours ago. The Vorith fleet, all 12,000 warships, was shown sitting at the edge of the Sol system, engines blazing, weapons charged, confident in their overwhelming superiority. Then the stars moved. Except they weren't stars. The objects had been sitting dark and cold in the asteroid belt for 11 years. No heat signatures. No electromagnetic emissions. No detectable power sources. To every sensor array the Vorith had deployed, they were nothing but dead rock. There were 460 of them. Each one was the size of a small moon. As the Vorith fleet crossed the designated threshold, every single object simultaneously came online. Power readings spiked so violently that the sensor feeds in the holographic display physically distorted. The alien ambassadors watched in absolute horror as the asteroids unfolded, massive steel petals opening like flowers, revealing the barrel arrays of weapons that human engineers had spent 3 quiet decades building in secret. General Patricia Stone's voice came over the fleet-wide channel, recorded and now playing for the entire conclave to hear. "Vorith Command, this is General Patricia Stone of the United Earth Defense Authority. You have entered a designated fire zone. You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawal. This is your only warning." The Vorith fleet commander's response was immediate and furious. He ordered a full forward charge. He had 29 seconds of life remaining when he made that decision. What followed lasted 8 minutes and 41 seconds. When it was over, the Vorith fleet no longer existed. Not damaged. Not retreating. Simply gone, reduced to clouds of cooling metal drifting silently through the dark between stars. The holographic display died. The chamber returned to its pale blue light. Colonel James Harrow picked his data chip up from the podium and slid it back into his pocket. "We've been watching this council for 60 years, he said, his voice carrying easily through the perfect silence. "Watching you carve up species that couldn't defend themselves. Watching you draw borders around our solar system like we were livestock." He paused. "We let you believe we were behind you. We needed you comfortable." Ambassador Crix had not moved. His mandibles were completely still, something no Vorith had ever been recorded doing in a state of consciousness. What? Crix began. We have 61 more installations like the one you just saw, Harrow said. Positioned. Dark. Waiting. He buttoned his coat. The question before this council today is very simple. Do we build a galaxy worth living in, together, or do we find out how patient humanity has really been? He turned and walked toward the exit. Behind him, 47 species sat in a silence so total, so absolute, that it seemed to press against the walls of the chamber like something physical and alive. The galaxy had just learned something it would never forget. Humans didn't panic when threatened. They prepared.